All right. Shalom, shalom. Call Haloyam, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakal, Quitash. Alright. So this is going to be a part 2, man, to the last video I just did. Alright. So I'm going to finish reading the rest of this chapter. Alright. What I have here. And then I guess I might read all this. I might just read a little bit of it, or I might read, the rest of it. I might finish it. But I also had this article. Remember, I had this article in part 1. I didn't even get to the article, but let's just get into it, man. So I'm literally just picking up right where I just left off at, man. So I recommend you to watch the first video. All right, good information was coming out on that video. All right, reading aspartame and all that, man. All right, so I'll just finish this part right here, and we'll get to the next part as well. All right, so if you want everything to make more sense, just watch the first part. All right, so it says I'm gonna just pick up right where I left off. It says, in an article published by Inquisitor.com, Terry LaPointe noted that Searle, the manufacturer of aspartame, began developing a drug to combat memory loss shortly after the FDA approved aspartame for use in carbonated drinks. You see, they hand you the problem and they come out with the solution. It's all a game, bro. That's why there's so many ways. There's so many different ways to get sick. And that's all done systematically. It's all done purposely. The food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air that we breathe. All right, it's all done on purpose to get us sick. All right, so we could come behind and so we could buy medicine and all this. It's all about money, bro. In an article published by Inquisitor, Terry LaPointe noted that Searle, the manufacturer of aspartame, began developing a drug to combat memory loss shortly after FDA approved aspartame for use in carbonated drinks. You see? So they purposely get you sick. All right? And then they make you pay for the medicine that got you sick. I mean, to combat your sickness. You see? That's why the word doctor means to falsify. The doctor is not really going to get you healthy, man. The whole point is to keep you sick. Without, if there was no sick people, there wouldn't be no money to be made in the medical industry. You see? It says aspartame is a neurotoxin. Even ants have sense enough to avoid it. All right. She explained. All right. Yet diet drinks add this neurotoxic chemical as its sweetener. Yeah. So Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Diet whatever, all has aspartame in it. All right. Yet diet drinks add this neurotoxic chemical as its sweetener, and they promote it as a heath food. I think he meant to say health food. All right, to a public that natively puts its trust in the experts. All right, well, you got to be a damn fool, man, to put trust in the food industry and these doctors, right? It says, then the manufacturers stand ready to offer you drugs to help you with your system, with your symptoms. All right, that's what I was just saying, man. They create the poison, they create the problem, then they come behind it with the solution. Right? Order added chaos. Order add KO. Right? It says, then the manufacturers stand ready to offer you drugs to help you with your symptoms that they won't tell you are directly related to your diet sodas. Yeah, you got to be a retard to drink soda anyway. You got to, whether it's diet, right? Because y'all drinking diet because y'all think it's, less sugar, right? It has no sugar in it, right? Zero sugar or less, Nah, bro, that shit has aspartame in it, bro. All right. It's a win-win situation for them, with the consumer as the loser. You don't lose weight, you lose health. All right. Some physicians have even linked aspartame to rising rates of ami of amyotrophic lateral cirrhosis, all right, sclerosis, all right, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, all right. So let's look this up real quick because I don't know exactly. I mean, I heard of it before, the ALS, back in the 2010s, they had the ALS challenge, right? Let's just look this up real quick. All right, so it says amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as motor neuron disease. All right, Lou Gehrig's disease or Carter's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder. So it fucks with your mind. It deteriorates your mind. That affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, are responsible for controlling voluntary muscle movement. And this is all because of aspartame that's in your diet sodas, in your toothpastes, all right, in your medicines, as you see right here, all right, toothpaste, chewable vitamins, your diet drinks, which is what we're reading right now, diet drinks, your cereals, dairy products, your chewing gums, right? Since what? The 1980s, man. And that's why you people, your minds is all messed up, right? So it says a study of U.S. troops deployed in the Persian Gulf during the first Gulf War found that they had twice the risk of developing ALS as compared to military personnel who were not deployed. Hold on a second. Let me drink some water real quick. All right, excuse me. It says a study of U.S. troops deployed in the Persian Gulf during the first Gulf War found that they had twice the risk of developing ALS as compared to military personnel who were not deployed. Dr. Betty Martini points out that these troops were consuming lots of diet soda, which, in conjunction with other environmental stressors, may be connected to the disease. In the Persian Gulf at the time, the troops were consuming lots of diet pop, cooking in the 120-degree Arabian sun for as long as 8 weeks at a time. All right, and we read in the last video, aspartame, when it reaches a certain degree, right, it turns into what? Formaldehyde. All right, formaldehyde. All right, so it says according to vets I personally interviewed in Huntsville, Alabama, all right, reported Dr. Martini, a member of the Mission People World Health International. It says aspartame has generated such bad press that one large manufacturer has distanced itself from the chemical. The Japanese Food and Additive Corporation, Ajinomoto, all right, Kubuyushiki, all right, Kaisha is, or simply Ajinomoto, all right, Company Incorporation, was originally a primary maker of MSG. Today, it is the world's largest producer of aspartame. Woo. All right, with a 40% global market share. In 2009, Ajinomoto, all right, began using the name amino sweet to avoid the controversy of the name aspartame. All right, and you see the next part of the chapter, other soft drinks hazards. All right, so it says though aspartame, let me see something real quick. It says, as though aspartame were not worry enough, other soda ingredients have begun to come under intense scrutiny. A UK study in 2007 revealed a salt derived from benzoic acid and routinely used as a preservative by the 160 billion soft drink industry changes to cancer-causing benzene when mixed with vitamin C in liquids. All right, this is what we have to deal with. In this hell that we're, this is why Yahweh Shai has to come back and save us, man, from this hell that we're living in, man. From all the hands that hate us. All right, it says Peter Piper, a professor of molecular biology and biotechnology at Sheffield University, found that sodium benzoate damaged the mitochondria DNA of yeast cells. Mitochondria are tiny free-floating elements within each cell that convert the energy from food into a form the cell can use. Right? These chemicals have the ability to cause severe damage to DNA in the mitochondria to the point that they totally inactivate it. Woo! All right? That they knock it out altogether. There is a whole array of diseases that are now being tied to damage to this DNA, Parkinson's, and quite a lot of neurodegenerative diseases, but above all, the whole process of aging. Who ages you fast as hell, man. All right, Warren Piper. All right, although the strength and doses of sodium benzoate needed to produce cancers required further study, many health authorities advise avoiding all soft drinks. All right, other studies have tentatively, all right, associated sodium benzoate with attention deficit disorder, but these studies focused on food dyes, also accused of creating health hazards as well. Yeah, all these food dyes, your red 40, your yellow 5, you know. Benzene is known as a benzene is a known carcinogen. A carcinogen is something that causes cancer, right? It says that usually is found in cigarette smoke, automotive exhaust fumes, industrial waste, and around service stations. It is sometimes found in contaminated food and water, including some soft drinks. Right. Furthermore, the long-term effects of sodium benzoate poisoning, all right, are simply not known. All right. It says if the chemicals in drinks don't get you, the containers might. Yeah. All right. All the plastic containers, bro, that you store your food in. That's why it's better to store your food in glass containers, like like the Tupperware. You know when you cook food and you put your food away in the refrigerator. Use glass, man. Don't use plastic, because as you're about to read right here, you have something that's known as BPA, which is a chemical in plastic that destroys you, man. It says if the chemical in drinks don't get you, the containers might. Whether diet or regular, all soft drink cans are coated with the endocrine disruptor, all right, bisphenol A, which is BPA, all right. It says which has been linked to everything from heart disease to obesity to reproductive problems, all right. Recent research, that's just like when you drink see, man, even when you drink a bottle of water, these bottles of water have BPA, man, and that seeps into the water, but we can't do so, we can only do so much. This is why it's good to get that's what I gotta get, man, a distiller, because as I speak right now, I'm drinking from a bottle of water, and it's everything. It don't matter if it's bottled or not, man. It's still poison, man, because of the BPA. We got to get out of here, bro. Everything that we eat is causing our headaches. The pain in our body. It says, where was I at? It says, I'm right here. It says, recent research indicates that BPA is a potent mimicker of estrogen hormone. right, recent research. Oh man, bro, you know, get yourself a distiller, man. A water distiller. They're like it depends on what kind and what brand you're buying it from. You could buy one off Amazon for $100. They got ones for 150, and then they got some for 200. Get yourself a distiller, man. All right, distilled water is the purest form of water. All right, recent research indicates that BPA is a potent mimicker of the estrogen hormone. All right, and urinary concentrations, uh, of BPA have been linked to obesity, especially in children. All right. Um, Dozens of studies have linked BPA with prostate cancer, infertility, asthma, heart disease, and developmental disorders. All right. Uh, predictably, in July 2014, the FDA reported that its latest studies indicate BPA is safe at the current levels occurring in food. However, the European Food Safety Authority, all right, continues to recognize some uncertainty about this safe, quote unquote, synthetic compound. All right, in early 2015, scientists at the University of Calgary reported concern over bisphenol S, BPS, thought to be less harmful version of BPA. It is found in many products carrying BPA-free labels. Yeah, because you'll have BPA-free, right? BPA-free plastic, but then it's BPS in there, right? It says the study published in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found low doses of BPA and BPS to cause under the low doses of BPA and BPS to cause underdevelopment and hyperactivity in zebrafish, all right, which share 80% of their genes with humans, all right? Come on, man. It says many plastics contain dioxins, all right, which have been shown to cause cancer, especially breast cancer, all right? These chemicals from plastics find their way into our bodies in a number of ways. As Dr. Edward Fujimoto, director of the Center for Health Promotion at Castle Medical Center in Hawaii, warns freezing plastic bottles with water in them can release dioxins, and as can heating fatty foods in plastic containers in microwave ovens. All right, the combination of fat, high heat, and plastic releases dioxins into the food and ultimately into the cells of the body. Frozen TV dinners, instant ramen, and soups and such should be removed from their container before heating. All right. Fujimoto also notes that the presence of dioxins is one reason some fast food chains have moved away from foam containers, using paper instead. Fujimoto recommends using glass. Yeah, that's what I said. All right, such as Corningware, Pyrex, or ceramic containers for heating food. Yep. Yet the FDA, while not oblivious to the plastics problem, has willingly disregarded the extent of the risk. The agency admits that the substances used to make plastic may leach into foods, yet it claims that the levels in the foods are within the margin of safety. Blah 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 blah. The FDA website adds it has seen no evidence that plastic containers or films contain dioxins and knows of no reason why they would, apparently disregarding clear evidence to the contrary. All right, this is bought and paid for, man, by the elites. You see? All right. Let me read this article. Let's go into this article. All right. So study artificial sweeteners, aspartame. All right, could trigger heart and brain damage. All right, and that's what we just been reading this whole time in this book. All right, going into aspartame. Again, the name of this chapter is what? All right, chapter 11, deadly sweeteners. All right, then it first talks about truvia, right? Splenda, and then aspartame. All right, aspartame. All right. All right, study artificial sweetener aspartame could trigger heart and brain damage. All right, so it says concerns about the artificial sweetener aspartame, which is found in thousands of products, often disguised under different names, once again been raised. All right, new research suggests that regularly consuming fizzy drinks, which is what we just been reading, all right, laced with the artificial sweetener, could raise the risk of heart and brain damage. Yeah, all right, uh, neuro, neural defects, all right, or neurological degenerative effects, man. All right, aspartame, which is found in Diet Coke, Pepsi Max, and Sprite, and products like extra chewing gum, to name, all right, but a few, has long been linked to concerns including cancer, high blood pressure, and strokes. All right, in 2023, the World Health Organization classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. All right, now researchers from Spain say consuming high levels of the additive may also age the brain and stiffen the heart. All right, oof, come on, man. You people out here drinking soda like crazy. All right, in a study on mice, higher aspartame intake, roughly equivalent to 3 servings, all right, every fortnight. All right, let me read that again. It says, in a study on mice, higher aspartame intake, roughly equivalent to 3 servings every fortnight, was linked to around a 20% increased risk of mild cardiac hypertrophy. All right, a condition in which the heart muscle becomes thickened, as well as accelerated cognitive decline. All right, so your brain function, bro, your focus, bro, that shit, yo, you gotta be retarded, bro. You end up becoming retarded when you drink soda, bro. The researchers also found that body fat dropped by around a fifth in animals. All right, writing in the journal Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy. All right, the researchers of the Center of Cooperative Research in Biomaterials in San Sebastian urged officials to review current aspartame consumption guidelines. All right, aspartame does indeed reduce fat deposits by 20% in mice, but it does so at the cost of mild cardiac hypertrophy and decreased cognitive performance. All right, although this sweetener may help achieve weight loss in mice, it is accompanied by physiological changes in the heart and possibly the brain. All right, these findings suggest aspartame at permitted doses can compromise the function of major organs, and so it would be advisable to reassess the safety limits for humans. So you see what's going on, man. All right, the mice showed signs of altered neural behavior and possible pathophysiological changes in the brain, the study said. All right, so you see what we read in this article and what we've been reading in this book, man. All right, Ezekiel 4 again. All right, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus the children of Israel, which is you Negroes, you Latinos, and Native Americans, eat their defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Yeah, we were scattered amongst the Gentiles. The Lord driv us and scattered us amongst the Gentiles, and there we shall eat what? Defiled bread. All right, poison. All right, come on, man. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shire Ratazah, this lesson, is and was edifying, man. All right, so you could look into this book yourself. All right, this is Population Control by Jim Mars. Yeah, all right. So with that being said, unto the next one, shalom, shalom.